Nobody can do what you're doing. There's only one you. And that is the quote of the day. Welcome back to the Quote of the Day show. I'm your host, Sean Croxton of SeanCroxton.com. Thanks for tuning in to our Finance Friday episode. We talk about all things money mindset, and today's featured speaker is Mr. Bob Proctor. Yes, Bob is back. I was listening to the replay of his recent Paradigm Shift event, and I heard this part, and I was like, I have to share it. Because if you're an entrepreneur or you're looking to just create more streams of income in your life, I think this is going to resonate. And to be honest with you, it's not directly about money mindset, but it's about money mindset in kind of a roundabout way. And let me explain why. I've done quite a bit of consulting and coaching with new entrepreneurs over the last several years. And one thing I hear from them very frequently is this: Sean, I have a passion for something. I have a message. I have a story. There's so many people who I want to help, but there are already people online who are doing what I want to do. And they might say, back when I was in the health space, they say, well, I want to have a health podcast. I want to interview people, but Sean, you already do that. And Abel James does that. And Rob Wolf does that. And Diane Sanfilippo does that. And Sean Stevenson does that. And here's the way that I like to reframe that. Number one is that things are never saturated. And when you go online and you see people who are already doing something that you want to do, that's actually a really good sign. It shows that it's a viable concept. It shows that it's a good idea. It shows that a community can be built around that message. Here's where you get worried. You get worried when you go online and no one is doing what you want to do. Because like I say, the internet is not new. It's kind of old when you really think about it. It's been around for a little while now. And chances are, if nobody's doing what you want to do, it means that some people tried it and it just didn't work. And so if people are doing it, that's a good sign. It means you should go for it. Number two, there are 7 billion people in the world. If 1 million of them are online, and gather it around that message, for example, with the podcast thing, if there are 1 million people listening to health podcasts, what does that mean? That means there's like 6.9 something billion people left. So it's never saturated. There are always people out there who are going to want to hear your message and be part of your community. Number 3 is that nobody is like you. Nobody will do it the way that you can do it. I have my way of doing shows. I have my way of doing interviews. I have my way of preparing. I have my way of starting the show and ending the show. I have my own story, but you have your own way as well. And you have a story, you have a way of doing things that's going to resonate with people in a way that they don't resonate with me. So they might be listening to me and they go, oh, I like the way this person over here does it. I can resonate more with that. So I'm going to go over there. And new people come in and they go, oh yeah, I like this person, because you do things your way and nobody else can do it like you. So get out there and do it. It's Friday. Take the weekend and think about ways that you can go online and spread your message to more people if that's what you want to do. Here's Bob.
See, the lesson to be learned from the practical aviation of the present day is that of triumph of principle over precedent. I don't know how many times Sandy Gallagher has mentioned, I'll mention to her, precedent. What's the law? Look at precedent. It's the triumph of principle over precedent. The past really isn't going to hold us back if we don't let it. And what we want to do is start to understand there are laws. And we can go start work out an idea to its logical conclusion. That's exactly what Anders says he was doing, in spite of the accumulated testimony of all past experience to the contrary. See, that's what Edison did. That's what Ed Hillary did. That's what Orville and Wilbur did. That's what everyone did that ever done anything of any consequence to improve the quality of your life. That's what you're going to do if you really want to improve. And if you've got the picture, you can do it. There's no end to what you can do. See, we think, oh, she can or he can. I mean, they do. No, you can. This is your life. You've got to decide, what do you want? It doesn't matter whether you've got any money. It doesn't matter whether you have no connections. Have you any idea the number of connections I've got? My God, I couldn't even count them. I know people in almost every country in the world. I could call them friends. If I phoned and asked them to do something, they would do it at the drop of a hat. Do you know when I first picked up that book, my own family didn't even want to talk to me. I didn't have any friends. I had a few acquaintances, but they weren't any nicer than I was, and I wasn't a very nice person. What happened? I woke up. Like Buddha one time, somebody says to Buddha, "Are you a god?" He said, "No, I'm not a god." "Are you a saint?" He said, "No, I'm not a saint." "What are you?" He said, "I'm awake." Yeah. With such notable examples before us, can we say that it's futile to inquire whether, by the same method, we may not unlock still more important secrets and gain some knowledge of the unseen causes which are at the back of external and invisible conditions? Doesn't matter what's done. You and I can do it even bigger. We can do it better. We can do it better than it's ever been done. People ask me, "Who's doing what you do?" Nobody. Nobody can do what I'm doing. There's only one me. People ask me what the added value is. I say, I'm the added value. It's not a conceited statement. It's just an aware statement. There's nobody can do what I do. You say, well, Sandy's doing... No. Sandy's doing what Sandy does. Bob's doing what Bob does. I can't do what she does. She can't do what I do. Now, we can learn from one another, but let's understand no one can do what you do. There's no one. You want to be really happy that you are unique. In all the people in the world, there's only one you. I wrote a poem in that. I put a poem in. I didn't write the poem. A man named Wood wrote it. I'm going to go through it. I want you to really think. I want you to think of yourself. It says, every single blade of grass and every flake of snow is just a wee bit different. They're no two alike, you know. From something small, like grains of sand, to each gigantic star. Each one was made with this in mind, to be just what they are. How useless, or how foolish it is to imitate, and how useless to pretend when each one of us comes from a mind whose ideas never end. Do you know there's only going to be one of me to show what I can do? Likewise, you should be really proud that there's only one of you. You're unique. See, we become aware of this and then bring together these unseen causes into a better order and make practical working reality of the possibilities which at present seem but fantastic dreams. It doesn't matter whether you know how to do what you want to do. It may seem like a fantastic dream. Everyone, your closest people, may say, that's silly, you can't do that. I'm going to tell you something. If you can see it, you can do it. Because what you're seeing is something that is. And you have gone somewhere, it's called there. There is a place. You have gone onto a frequency. You're there. If you can see it, you can do it. If you can see it, you can move it into form. If you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. You don't need anybody's approval. Now, when you get working with people who really get into this and they really study it, Mark Cameron's really studying it since he was a kid. I was just very little older than him. He was 18, I was 26. You know? There's no end, absolutely none, to what we're capable of doing.